If you enjoy videos like this, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe so we can bring you more insightful videos like this. Don't forget to click the bell icon to stay updated on our latest content. Now into the history. The life of John Paul Jones. From the mist-shrouded coasts of western Scotland to the tempestuous seas of the North Atlantic, from French shipyards to the roar of battle off the British Isles, the life of John Paul Jones is one of daring naval command, audacious raids, diplomatic intrigue, and legendary defiance. This is the story of how the emerging United States found a naval hero to match its ideals. In the age of empires, when Britain's navy ruled the waves unchallenged, a single man rose from obscurity to strike terror into the heart of the greatest maritime power on earth. His name was John Paul Jones, sailor, patriot, raider, hero to America and pirate to Britain. This is the story of his life. Every storm he weathered, every ship he commanded, every battle that tested him, and every letter that revealed the restless mind of the man who would be remembered as the father of the American Navy. A Scottish beginning, 1747 to 1774. John Paul was born in Scotland in 1747, the son of a gardener. As a boy, he knew little of wealth or privilege, but the sea called to him. At just 13, he went to sea as an apprentice on merchant ships. He sailed to the West Indies, to the American colonies, and even took part in the grim Atlantic slave trade, an experience that left him disgusted, vowing never again to profit from human misery. In time, he became a skilled master mariner, but fate turned on him in the Caribbean. During a mutiny, he killed a sailor in self-defense. Knowing British law would not treat him kindly, he fled across the Atlantic, settling in Virginia. To escape his past, he added Jones to his name. John Paul was now John Paul Jones. The Revolution erupts, 1775 to 1776. When the American colonies declared independence, Jones found his cause. The Continental Congress authorized a navy, small and fragile compared to Britain's fleets, but essential. Jones was commissioned as a first lieutenant on the USS Alfred. On a cold December day in 1775, Jones stood on Alfred's deck as the first American naval flag was hoisted. The sight stirred him. For the first time, he was not just a sailor. He was a naval officer, sworn to fight for liberty at sea. His first actions were modest but important. In 1776, aboard Alfred, Jones helped engage the British frigate HMS Glasgow. Though the British ship escaped, it proved that Americans could meet the Royal Navy in open combat. Soon after, Jones was given command of the sloop Providence, and then Alfred itself. With them, he raided British outposts in Nova Scotia, burning fishing villages, seizing supply ships, and striking at the economic lifeblood of Britain's colonies. These raids were small compared to great battles on land, but they carried a message. The sea was no longer Britain's uncontested domain. The Ranger and the Raid on Britain, 1777 to 1778. In 1777, Jones was given command of the brand-new USS Ranger, an 18-gun sloop built in New Hampshire. With her, he sailed across the Atlantic, bound for France, where he sought alliance and support. Ranger carried news of America's new flag, and when she entered Brest Harbor, the French Navy returned her salute, the first formal recognition of the Stars and Stripes by a foreign power. But Jones was not content to sit idly in port. In 1778, he took Ranger into the Irish Sea on a daring mission to strike directly at Britain. At dawn on April 23rd, he landed with a small party at the port of Whitehaven, a harbour town on England's west coast. Moving silently through the night, his men spiked the guns of the coastal fort and tried to set fire to ships in the harbour. The fires sputtered and failed to spread, but the raid itself sent shock through Britain. For the first time in over a century, an enemy had landed on English soil. From there, Jones sailed north, raiding the estate of the Earl of Selkirk in Scotland. The Earl was away, so Jones's men took the family silver. Jones later returned it, apologizing in letters to Lady Selkirk. A strange glimpse of honor amid the ruthlessness of war. Then came a true battle. Off the Irish coast, Ranger encountered HMS Drake, a well-armed sloop. For more than an hour, the two ships duelled with cannon and musket. At last, Drake's captain fell mortally wounded, and the battered British ship struck her colors. Jones had done the unthinkable. An American warship had captured a Royal Navy vessel in British waters. The victory electrified America and humiliated Britain. French aid and the Bonhomme Richard, 1779. The alliance with France gave Jones new opportunities. In 1779, he was given command of a large, French-built merchant ship, hastily refitted for war. Armed with 42 guns, she was renamed the Bonhomme Richard in honor of Benjamin Franklin's Poor Richard's Almanac. With Bonhomme Richard as his flagship, Jones commanded a small squadron, the Alliance, a fast American frigate, the Pallas, a French frigate, the Vengeance, a brig, and a captured schooner. His orders: disrupt Britain's trade and, if possible, strike her convoys in home waters. The Battle of Flamborough Head, September 23, 1779. On the evening of September 23, 1779, off the Yorkshire coast near Flamborough Head, Jones sighted a rich convoy of British merchant ships escorted by two warships, the HMS Serapis, a new 44-gun frigate under Captain Richard Pearson, and the smaller Countess of Scarborough. Jones gave chase. As twilight fell, Bonhomme Richard closed with Serapis. At once, the British guns ripped through the Richard's hull. Planks splintered, cannons burst from their mountings. Fire broke out below decks. Some of Jones's gunners fled their posts. Captain Pearson hailed him, demanding surrender. Jones's reply became legend: "I have not yet begun to fight." He ordered his crew to lash Bonhomme Richard to Serapis. Locked together, the two ships blazed at point-blank range. Muskets cracked, grenades exploded, and sailors fought hand to hand. The deck of the Bonhomme Richard was slick with blood. At one point, both ships caught fire. After 3 hours of carnage, Pearson's crew could endure no more. Serapis struck her colors. Jones had won, though his own ship was mortally wounded. The Bonhomme Richard sank the next day, and Jones transferred his command to the captured Serapis. The battle stunned Europe. An American commander with a battered squadron and a sinking flagship had defeated one of Britain's finest ships within sight of her own coastline. The Pirate and the Patriot. To Americans and their French allies, Jones was a hero. To Britain, he was a pirate, a marauder who raided their ports, looted their merchants, and even stole silver from noble households. Jones himself understood this tension. In his letters, he constantly stressed the legitimacy of his actions, that he fought as a commissioned naval officer, not a freebooter. Yet he also relished his reputation. He wrote boldly to Congress and to Benjamin Franklin, urging greater investment in the Navy, proposing new shipyards, and defending his raids as necessary to break Britain's naval stranglehold. The later years. After the war, opportunities dwindled. The young United States could not afford a permanent navy, and Jones sought employment abroad. Catherine the Great of Russia welcomed him into her service as a rear admiral, commanding ships in the Black Sea against the Ottoman Turks. He won victories there, but political intrigue and jealous rivals soured his service. By 1792, Jones was living in Paris, ill and alone. On July 18th, he died at the age of just 45. His passing went largely unnoticed, overshadowed by the turmoil of the French Revolution. Over a century later, in 1905, his remains were rediscovered in Paris. They were brought to the United States with great ceremony, and today he rests in a marble crypt at the U.S. Naval Academy in Annapolis. A hero reclaimed by the nation he helped to found. John Paul Jones proved that America could fight not just on its own shores, but across the sea against the world's strongest navy. He forced Britain to defend its coasts, inspired France to deepen its support, and gave his young nation a naval tradition of courage and defiance. He was a raider, a patriot, a commander, and in the eyes of many, a pirate. But above all, John Paul Jones was a man who refused to yield, even when his ship was sinking beneath him. And so, the cry of John Paul Jones still echoes through history. I have not yet begun to fight. Thank you so much for joining us and sticking around until the end of the video. We hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into the life of John Paul Jones and gained a better understanding of his impact on the American Revolution. If you found this video informative, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. We've got many more historical stories like this on the way. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.